So when Harris and his cousin got in the maze, they met some people soon after they got inside. अंदर जाते ही उन्हें वहाँ पे कुछ और लोग भी मिले who had lost their way inside this maze. And they said they have never been there for 3/4 of an hour and had had about enough of it. These people complained that for last 3/4 of an hour, 3/4 of an hour means 45 minutes, that for last 45 minutes we are just roaming around this maze and we are not finding the way out. We are unable to find the exit. हम अंदर ही अंदर अपना रास्ता भूल गए हैं. 45 मिनट से हम रास्ता ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, but we have failed to find any exit. Harris told them they could follow him if they liked. He was just going in and then should turn round and come out again. Harris, who has already consulted the map, was so confident. He said he put these people in confidence. उसने इन लोगों का विश्वास जीतने की कोशिश की और इन लोगों को भरोसा दिलाया कि मुझे रास्ता पता है. I know the correct passage which can lead us to out of this maze. So he asked these people to join him. उसने कहा आप सब लोग मेरे साथ चलिए, मुझे पता है. I have consulted the map. I know how we can get out of this maze. They said it was very kind of him and fell behind and followed. And these people showed their gratitude. They thanked Harris. उन्होंने Harris का धन्यवाद किया. उनके अंदर एक उम्मीद जगी कि yes, somebody is there to help us getting out of this maze. So they started following him. They picked up various other people who wanted to get it over as they went along until they had absorbed all the persons in the maze, people who had given up all hopes of ever getting either in or out or ever seeing their home and friends again, plucked up courage at the sight of Harris and his party and joined the procession, blessing him. Harris said he should judge there must have been 20 people following him in all, and one woman with the baby who had been there all the morning insisted on taking his arm for fear of losing him. So this passage is telling us that how people have started believing Harris, who had showed them the confidence that I know the way out. मुझे बाहर जाने का रास्ता पता है. तो जब से उसने उन लोगों के सामने ये बात बोली, उन लोगों का उस पर विश्वास वो लोग उस पर विश्वास करने लगे. And they started following him. And this is how they included all the people. They picked up various other people. जो आगे रास्ते में उन्हें जो भी लोग मिलते गए, उन सबको हैरिस ने विश्वास दिलाया that he knew how they all could get out of that maze. So they picked up various other people who wanted to get it over, who wanted to go out, जो बाहर जाना चाहते थे, इस maze से बाहर निकलना चाहते थे. They went along until they absorbed all the persons in the maze. Absorbed means included. They included all, Harris included all the people he kept meeting on his way. रास्ते में जो भी लोग उन्हें मिलते गए, उनको हैरिस अपने साथ भरोसा दिलाते हुए अपने साथ ले गया कि मुझे पता है रास्ता, यहाँ से बाहर कैसे निकला जा सकता है. People who had given up all hopes for getting either in or out or of ever seeing their home and friends again plucked up courage at the sight of Harris and his party. Harris had won their confidence. Those people who had lost the hope that they would ever be able to come out of the maze have started believing Harris and they plucked up courage. उन्होंने हिम्मत दिखाई. जो लोग उम्मीद छोड़ चुके थे कि वो कभी इस मेज से बाहर निकल पाएंगे, उन लोगों ने हिम्मत जुटाई. हैरिस के पीछे पीछे वो लोग सब चलने लगे. Because Harris was very confident after consulting the map that he had the solution of coming out of this maze. So all those people who had lost the hope, they plucked up the courage. उन्होंने हिम्मत की जब उन्होंने हैरिस को और उसके पीछे पीछे और लोगों को चलते देखा, हैरिस एंड हिज पार्टी. एंड दे जॉइन द प्रोसेशन. प्रोसेशन मीन्स क्राउड. जो क्राउड हैरिस के पीछे पीछे चल रहा था, जिन्हें लेकर हैरिस आगे आगे चला हुआ था, वो procession, that crowd. So people, joined the crowd, and they blessing him, and they were blessing Harris. They were thinking that Harris is the one hero who has the solution to take us out of this passage. So they were considering him like their hero, and they were thanking him, they were blessing him. Harris said he should judge. There must have been 20 people following him. So Harris told the narrator and his friend that almost 20 people were there behind हैरिस. हैरिस ने कम से कम वो 20 लोग थे जिन लोगों को ये विश्वास दिलाया कि वो उन्हें इस मेज़ से बाहर निकालेगा. सो हैरिस सेड दैट आई थिंक दे वर ऑलमोस्ट 20 people who were following me, and one woman with the baby, and there was one woman who was badly scared because she had a small baby with her. So she was picking up this baby, and she insisted on taking his arm for the fear of losing him. This woman requested Harris that, can I take your arm, can I hold you with your arm, because I am very very afraid that I might lose you. वो लेडी इतनी डरी हुई थी कि उसने हैरिस से रिक्वेस्ट की कि मुझे आपको पकड़ के रखना है, कहीं मैं गुम ना हो जाऊं. बिकॉज शी हैड अ स्मॉल बेबी, सो शी वॉज एक्स्ट्रा ओवर अफ्रेड देन अदर पीपल. शी वॉज वेरी वेरी अफ्रेड एंड नर्वस. और वो हैरिस के साथ साथ चलने लगी, एंड देयर वर अदर पीपल हु वर बिहाइंड हैरिस, एंड हैरिस वाज द वन हु वाज कॉन्फिडेंट दैट ही हैड द सॉल्यूशन टू get out of that maze. Let's see what happened after that. Harris kept on turning to the right, but it seemed a long way, and his cousin said he supposed it was a very big maze. Oh, one of the largest in the Europe, said Harris. Yes, it must be, replied the cousin, because we have walked a good 2 miles already. Please underline this dialogue for reference to context. Oh, one of the largest in Europe, said Harris. Yes, it must be, replied the cousin, because we have walked a good 2 miles already. So as he had consulted the map, जैसा हैरिस ने मैप में देखा था, they had to turn to right direction. So Harris kept on turning to the right direction, and they kept on walking and walking and walking, but there was no exit. वो उन्होंने राइट अंदर जाते ही राइट टर्न लिया, और वो चलते गए, लेकिन उन्हें कोई रास्ता बाहर निकलने का दिखाई नहीं दिया. And then his cousin said that I think it is a very big maze. So Harris told that it is one of the largest in Europe. ये कोई छोटी मोटी जगह नहीं है. This maze is known to be the largest one in the entire Europe. Yes, it must be, because we have walked a good 2 miles already. His cousin, Harris's cousin, had estimated that they had walked almost 2 miles. And they were still walking on, and they were tired, but they were unable to find any way. Let's see what happened after that. Harris began to think it rather strange himself, but he held on until at last they passed the half of a piece of cake on the ground that Harris's cousin swore he had noticed there 7 minutes ago. Harris said, "Oh, impossible," but the woman with the baby said, "Not at all," as she herself had taken it from the child and thrown it down there just before she met Harris. She also added that she wished she never had met Harris, and expressed an opinion that he was an impostor. That made Harris mad, and he produced his map and explained his theory. So what happened? जिस हैरिस को मैप देखने से पहले लग रहा था कि अंदर जाकर बाहर निकलना बहुत आसान था, वही हैरिस अब जब अंदर चल रहा है राइट डायरेक्शन में और उसके पीछे पीछे लोग चल रहे हैं, तो उसे समझ आने लगा that it was not that simple. It was very very confusing, and it was quite difficult to find the way to get out of this maze. So he began to think it rather strange himself, but he held on. He found it quite strange. उसे अजीब लगा जब उसे कोई रास्ता नहीं मिला. वो चले जा रहे हैं राइट डायरेक्शन में, लेकिन बाहर निकलने का कोई रास्ता नहीं है. Then he found it quite strange, but he held on until at last they passed the half of a piece of cake on the ground. underline this, pass the half of a piece of cake means they crossed the path where a piece of cake was lying that Harris's cousin swore he had noticed there 7 minutes ago. तभी हैरिस के कज़न का ध्यान गया that there was a piece of cake lying on the ground and they were passing that passage again and again. उसने हैरिस को समझाने की कोशिश की कि हम बार बार घूम के उसी जगह पे आ रहे हैं, एक ही जगह पे हम बार बार वी आर रिपीटिंग that passage again and again. And Harris said, how do you know? Harris said, his cousin said, because I saw the piece of cake lying on the ground. ये जब हम पिछली बार यहाँ से जा रहे थे तब भी मैंने इस केक को केक का टुकड़ा ज़मीन पे पड़ा हुआ देखा, अभी हम फिर से यहाँ से क्रॉस कर रहे हैं. इट मीन्स वी आर पासिंग द सेम पैसेज अगेन एंड अगेन. And Harris was not ready to accept it. He said, oh, impossible, it's not possible. But that woman with the baby said, not at all, as she herself had taken it from the child and thrown it down there just before she met Harris. But then this woman said that your cousin is correct. Your cousin is telling the right thing. I had thrown this piece of cake here before meeting you. I took it from my baby and I threw this cake here. और हम बार बार इसी रास्ते से क्रॉस हो रहे हैं. इसका प्रूफ है ये केक का टुकड़ा जो रास्ते में गिरा है, और हर बार हम जब भी यहाँ से क्रॉस हो रहे हैं तो यही टुकड़ा हमें दिखाई दे रहा है, जिससे ये पता चलता है दैट वी आर रिपीटिंग द पैसेज. हम बार बार एक ही रास्ते में चल रहे हैं, राइट. एंड दिस मेड द वुमन वेरी एंग्री. अब उसका विश्वास हैरिस से उठ गया. उसे लगा कि हैरिस भी उन्हें बाहर निकाल नहीं सकता था और हैरिस ने भी शायद झूठ बोला था. सो शी ऑल्सो एडेड दैट शी विश्ड she never had met Harris. She said, I wish I would have met you. I wouldn't have believed you. And she expressed an opinion that he was an imposter. Imposter means a fraud. The one who tells a lie. The one who befools people. जो लोगों को बेवकूफ़ बनाता है. तो उस लेडी को वो केक का टुकड़ा देखकर ये पता लग गया कि हम बार बार इसी रास्ते में आ रहे हैं और हम बाहर निकलने का कोई रास्ता नहीं ढूंढ पा रहे. एंड दिस मैन हैरिस इज़ अ फ्रॉड. ही कॉल्ड हैरिस इम्पोस्टर. ही सेड, यू आर एन इम्पोस्टर, यू आर अ फ्रॉड, यू टोल्ड अ लाई, यू मेड द फूल ऑफ ऑल ऑफ अस, यू डोंट नो हाउ वी कैन गेट आउट ऑफ दिस maze. And that made Harris mad. And when he heard that woman started blaming him, that woman started calling him a fraud man, the one who befool people, then he became mad. उसे गुस्सा आ गया. And he produced his map and explained this theory. Then he produced that map which he had consulted which he had already consulted before getting inside. He presented that map before everybody and he showed them that I am taking you to the correct passage. इस map के according मैं आप लोगों को सही रास्ते पे ले जा रहा हूँ. The map may be all right enough, said one of the party, if you know the whereabouts in it we are now. So one of the men in the crowd said that maybe the map is correct. There is no fault in the map, but there is the fault in your strategy. तुम हमें गलत रास्ते से ले जा रहे हो. मैप सही रास्ता दिखा रहा है लेकिन शायद ये वो रास्ता नहीं है जो मैप हमें दिखा रहा है जिस रास्ते पे हम चल रहे हैं. If you know the whereabouts in it we are now. Whereabouts mean where we are right now. Do you know exactly where we are right now? We would be able to follow the map only if we know where we are exactly right now. So do you know where we are exactly right now? Then only you would be able to show us the path which is given in the passage in the map, which has been shown in the map. Harris didn't know and suggested the best thing to do would be to go back to the entrance and begin again. So Harris said, I don't know where we are. So it may happen that yes, ये हो सकता है कि हम शायद गलत रास्ते पे चल रहे हों. आप लोग सही कह रहे हैं, मैप इसीलिए हमें सही रास्ता नहीं दिखा पा रहा, बिकॉज वी डोंट नो वेयर वी आर. सो वी शुड डू वन थिंग, वी शुड वंस अगेन गो बैक टू द एंट्रेंस, और फिर से हम चलना शुरू करते हैं. एंड दिस टाइम वी विल फॉलो द एग्जैक्ट पैसेज which has been shown in the map. And for the beginning again part of it, there was not much enthusiasm, but with regard to the advisability of going back to the entrance, there was complete unanimity, and so they turned and trailed after Harris again, and in the opposite direction. About 10 minutes more passed, and then they found themselves in the center. So people were not enthusiastic when Harris told them that let's go to the entrance. फिर से शुरुआत करते हैं जहाँ से हमने चलना शुरू किया था. एंट्रेंस में दोबारा वापस जाते हैं और फिर से इस मैप को फॉलो करते हैं. सो व्हेन इट वाज अबाउट गोइंग बैक टू द एंट्रेंस, दोबारा से एंट्रेंस में जाने की बात जब आई, then people were not showed no enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means excitement. Please underline this word and note the meaning. Excitement. People didn't show any excitement because they were badly tired. For last 1 hour they were just walking in the passage without knowing the exact way to got out. So they were extremely tired and they showed no enthusiasm, no excitement. But with the regard to the advisability of going back to the entrance, there was complete unanimity. But they all agreed. Unanimity means जब सब लोग agree करते हैं कि ठीक है. Although they were not excited, but they all accepted, they all agreed that all right, चलो फिर से शुरुआत करते हैं. जहाँ से हमने चलना शुरू किया था वहाँ वापस जाते हैं और वहाँ से फिर से इस मैप के अकॉर्डिंग वी विल स्टार्ट following the path. And then they turned and they went back to the entrance and they trailed after Harris again. Trailed after Harris again means they started following Harris again. और अभी भी Harris ने उन सब की responsibility ली है. He has become the leader of all these people and he is walking with full confidence as if he knew how to get out of this passage. And Harris again in the opposite direction, and then this time they started walking to the opposite direction so that they can go back to the entrance. About 10 minutes more passed. 10 मिनट तक वो चलते रहे but there was no entrance. लेकिन वो entrance तक भी नहीं पहुंच पाए. वो और ज़्यादा रास्ता उलझ गया. अब और ज़्यादा वो अपने रास्ते से भटक गए. They almost 10 minutes more passed and they found themselves in the center. Still they were in the center of the passage. They couldn't reach to the entrance and they didn't know how to exit from this maze. So there was a great confusion. Harris thought at first of pretending that was what he had been aiming at, but the crowd looked dangerous and he decided to treat it as an accident. Now Harris was afraid. अब हैरिस को लगा कि ये लोग जो मुझ पे भरोसा करके मेरे साथ साथ चल रहे थे, इन्होंने मुझ पे भरोसा किया, मैंने इन्हें भरोसा दिलाया कि मैं आपको इस मेज़ से बाहर निकाल दूंगा, इस भूल भुलैया से बाहर निकालूंगा, लेकिन अब मुझे खुद भी रास्ता दिखाई नहीं दे रहा. सो ही थॉट ऑफ प्रिटेंडिंग होता है एक्टिंग करना. ही थॉट ऑफ एक्टिंग एज इफ this is his planning, that he wanted them to reach to the center of the maze, but he knew that it was a great crowd. There were more than 20 people and they were dangerous. उसे डर लगा कि कहीं ये लोग मेरी पिटाई ना कर दें, कि ये लोग ये ना सोचे कि मैंने इन्हें बेवकूफ़ बनाया, मुझे तो रास्ता खुद भी नहीं पता है. So he found it quite dangerous. He found the idea quite dangerous and he decided to treat it as an accident. So he told people that accidentally, by mistake, they had reached the center of the map and they have no idea how to go back to the entrance or how to find the exit from this maze. So today we will read till here only, and this is my request to all of you. Please reread this these passages that we read, that I read for you today. Reread these passages at least twice, and wherever you have confusion, then please feel free to ask me. So this is your homework for the day. Reread these passages, the passages that I wrote for that I read for you. Thank you.